Hello everyone. Uh, Good evening and welcome everyone our Tech Brewers virtual meetup. So it's kind of an event we mostly organize in between. Like it's been a time we have organized a virtual event, and so we thought it's a time of Hacktoberfest, and what's a good time rather than like conducting an event regarding Hacktoberfest. So we have this great session organized for you regarding the open source, like learning open source with Hacktoberfest. And so today it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be mostly for like everyone who's thinking to dive deep into open source, contributing to open source. This is Hacktoberfest is kind of a great way and great stepping stone to start your journey into open source and get started with your contributions. So uh, let me bring up our speaker, today's speaker. So yeah, we have Tauki here. He's gonna be let you deep dive into open source, how you can start open source and leverage Hacktoberfest for that. Also, let me introduce Tauki. He's the director of open source partnership at CodeDay Labs, and he's also a GitHub Campus Expert. So it's been a very long time since Tawkir has been doing like mentoring and guiding folks into this domain and taking them, helping them to start their open source contributions and this journey. So I guess it would be great to hand over the stage to Tawkir and let him uh, get you through the open source. So yeah, Tawkir,
Yeah,
the stage is yours.
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Weber, for the lovely introduction. And let's just get started with
Yeah,
today's agenda.
also I would like to request everyone. So this should be an kind of interactive session. You can drop out comments and like whatever doubts you have in the comments. So we will be noticing them and we will be also highlighting them, and Taukir will definitely gonna try to like answer them. So yeah, be active and interact with it. So I'll be going off the stage. Let's get started.
Yeah. So let's just get my slides added to the stream, and here it is. And here we are. So hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. A very happy Hacktoberfest to to all who have already been participating in it, and to those who still don't know what Hacktoberfest actually is. Don't worry, I got you right. So just to start with today's agenda, that we will be covering about what exactly open source is, and why people usually contribute to open source, why should you contribute to open source, and following that we will be covering up the point about how to get started with Hacktoberfest, because obviously it's Hacktoberfest, right? And almost each one of you who is joining in the stream would be interested, or who have already started with Hacktoberfest, right? Apart from that, I will be also sharing some best practices for open source with you all, so that it can ease your open source journey. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep it a bit precise and short, and just to get started with open source as an overall. So yeah, before starting, I would just like to introduce myself again. My name is Mohd Toukir Khan. You can call me Toukir, and my pronouns are he or him. I work as a director for open source partnerships at CodeDay Lab, and I am also a GitHub Campus Expert. Usually, my work around CodeDay Labs is helping students make their first open source contributions to different projects out there, and it's been a great journey so far, like interacting with students, connecting with maintainers, and some good open source projects out there. It's been an amazing journey, honestly, and open source is just amazing, I would say. So let's just get started. The first question that to some of the folks might come to your mind would be, what is open source, right? Again, The term open source refers to something people can modify and share because its design is publicly accessible, right? I'm not talking about open source software. It's just a general perspective about open source. Anything that is publicly available and is modifiable and changeable, which can people do some work with and make their own modifications to that particular thing, comes under open source, right? The term originated in context of software development to designate a specific approach, but over the period of time, since the approach has been involved as an overall, and it has set a broader set of values out there, right? So like we generally usually call it these days a open source way. It's around open source projects. It can be a product, it can be some initiative, or it can be open exchange of some values or principles out there. So each and every one, each and everything of the things that I have mentioned over here comes under open source, right? uh Hi Ashwarya, I hope you are doing well. Okay, so this is just a gist about open source. It has a way broader aspect, and again, I just want to make it too complex for you. That is why I'm just covering up this much only about open source, and I just wanted to share about why do people contribute to open source and what exactly open source software is. So, as I shared about what open source actually is, right? But again, open source software is something that we must be concerned about in today's lifestyle because obviously we are interested to contribute to the same for the upcoming, I mean, starting from wherever you are gonna contribute to from today itself, right? So, in general way, what exactly open source software is? Open source software is developed and maintained through open collaboration. The source code is publicly available so that anyone who is interested to contribute to the project out there, they can go out and make some changes. Or if someone like me wants to get a feature added to any project out there, they can do so with the help of making some contributions, right? If I wish to change or bring in some changes out there, examine or alter it through or according to my own needs, I can do it with the open source projects that are available over there, right? So this is what in general open source software exactly is. And just to cover up again, that the term open source generally refers to a more community based approach, because if you see or observe, like anyone who has already observed the open source software projects out there in the past, you would have seen out there that some of the open source projects have really great communities out there, right? People are engaging with those communities, they are connecting with good peers and networks, and they are making contributions, receiving mentorship. This is all just the part of the community for one particular project, maybe, right? So I will be covering up this part too, that how contributing to open source brings in so many benefits out there to you. But before that, like, it's generally more around a community based approach through open collaboration and making changes and bringing in the things that you need in anything that you want to look forward to, which is open source, right? But since we now already know that what exactly open source is, generally, if I would have been in your place, I would have literally asked that why open source, right? Why are people just letting their source code publicly available to so many people out there, right? So again, open source is low cost to maintain because open source can vary significantly from person to person and organization to organization, right? It depends on the use case a lot, and in many cases, let's just take an example. A lot of you folks would not have been aware that Firefox is open source, right? A lot of people just use it just for their use case, get their work done through it, and you must have not even thought a single time that okay, this is something that I can bring in the change according to my own needs, or I can get a feature added, right? Uh, on So this is what exactly is, right? Uh, just a sec. Yeah. So why open source software, right? Low. in generally companies look at as a low cost maintenance alternative instead of the proprietary softwares out there. It is, since it is open, people can volunteer and contribute to the open source projects out there. It is easily customizable, and it is being flexible for companies to maintain it because it has such a huge community of developers out there who are already contributing to the project. Honestly, the developers or the maintainers of React would have been really happy for now, because let's just consider the stage from where they started, and just look at the project right now. The React project has been thriving like anything, and it has a huge community out there with so many awesome maintainers and developers, right? So a company just choose open source software over a property alternative for its low cost, of course. And it also helps in to bring in the existence of a very large community out there, which brings in the belongingness of the product, obviously. And a vast variety of people contribute to that project. A diverse variety of contributions are made to that project. So it really improves and pushes the project as an overall to a good amount of limits, right? So obviously you get large community when you host your project as an open source, but it also helps contributors like you. How? When you contribute to an open source project as a volunteer work or maybe a paid work, you can like enhance your development skills by making contributions out there, right? You can test those skills out there on that project. And when you make a project to a really good open source project out there, it enhances your reputation as an overall, right? It helps you to create a proof of work that, okay, this is something that I have made as an addition to this project, and this is my contribution to that big project out there. Again, open source is not just about making contributions to only big projects out there, but instead you should have the focus on making contributions to some really good project out there. Also, it helps you to connect to a lot of people out there from different fields, and it helps you to learn diverse perspective or approaches towards the software development, right? Again, since we are talking a lot about the open source projects out there, if there is a project that is in your mind which is your favorite, or you have already contributed to, I would just love to see it in the chat, and just let me know that what exactly is your favorite project. Maybe I would have also played a role there by contributing to that project. So definitely, I would love to know. So just feel free to let me know in the comment, and that's pretty much it about my open source software. Well, before moving forward with open source software, there is one more particular thing that I mentioned in the previous slide. I didn't cover it in the start because I wanted to give you a gist about what exactly open source software is, and then I wanted to bring in the term of license, like what exactly licenses are. So licenses are basically means through which they uh, let the contributors know that, okay, this is the way that you can contribute into the project. While you are looking forward to contribute to the project, a license is something that you should look forward to while you are making contribution, so that you can check out if it aligns with the needs of the contributions that you want to make out there, right? And there are a lot of licenses out there. One example is the GNU license, which is the oldest one, which basically states that if you are making changes to any project out there, you have to make it publicly available for the people to use it and make contributions, right? So again, a lot of projects are there who holds different types of licenses, and I'm not covering it a lot again, because again, I just don't want to make it too complex for you, right? So this is what in general open source is. And It's not a very big thing to know. It's not a very hard thing to learn. But to get used to it, you definitely require some amount of time, and the expertise you gain is something that you gain through the time, right? Through spending some time with open source. So, but again, this same is about open source through Hacktoberfest, right? Uh, you can see that it can be a way through which you can contribute to the projects out there. And let's just discuss about what role exactly Hacktoberfest plays, because obviously, since you're here, you want to know that how can Hacktoberfest really help me to contribute to those projects out there, or how can help me to learn open source, right? So someone over here says that please provide the issues resources to contribute an open source. Yeah, sure. I will be sharing some resources with you all. I have got you covered, and we will be discussing about all of these things in the end, right? So, what role does Hacktoberfest play? So, we can deep dive into this again, but before that, we need to learn about what Hacktoberfest actually is, right? A lot of you would have already known about it because you have already participated in it, but some of you might have not had a single instance of interacting with the Hacktoberfest community, right? So, what Hacktoberfest is? It is a month-long celebration or an event in October that encourages open source contributors and developers worldwide to give back to the global tech communities, right? And generally, it is a very old event out there, and this is basically 11th edition of Hacktoberfest. Uh, I basically started with open source with Hacktoberfest itself because I was quite interested to participate in Hacktoberfest, and I remember when I started with it, uh, it was really overwhelming for me because people were just trying to get the pull request done for to participate in the project. I will cover that part too because this is something that is needed to be shared with you all. So I will make sure that I will share it with you all. But yeah, Hacktoberfest is all about it. It can be a perfect opportunity for you to showcase your open source expertise, and the annual event it basically happens once in a year, right, in the month of October, and it brings in together developers from all different levels, be it the seasoned developers or the newbies like me, honestly, who are just learning and looking forward to contribute to some good projects out there. And it is just a unified effort to bring in the open source community together and celebrate the collaboration in a global level, right? So how you can do it, and again, so there are a few ways through which you have to follow through and you can participate in Hacktoberfest. Uh, how to get started? Obviously, you can register at hacktoberfest.com. You must be having a GitHub or GitLab account, and then you have to search for participating projects. Uh, I would really love to share that how the website looks like so that it could be easier for you to follow along. Just a sec, let me just share my screen. Oktoberfest. Oops. Okay. And I think I got the website. Okay. So just a sec. Yeah. So Vaibhav, can you bring in my second screen to the stream? Yeah, so this is basically how the Hacktoberfest website looks like, and you can just visit the website through hacktoberfest.com, and you just have to register for Hacktoberfest. And as you can see, all you need to have is a GitHub or GitLab account, and there are a lot of things out there, almost each and everything that you need to know while you are participating in Hacktoberfest. How you can participate in it. There are all these sections that are added over here. And what is the criteria while you are making the pull request to any projects out there. And when you complete the Hacktoberfest by making in 4 pull requests out there, because that is the number of pull requests required to make Hacktoberfest contributions.
Hi Toukir. Hello everyone. It seems like there's some kind of issue on the Toukir's end. Let's wait for a few minutes. We will see if I'll let you know if Toukir can join. I guess there's some certain network issue or something like that. Okay, be with us. Okay, yeah, all right. Toukir is there.
Again,
Okay.
credits to Windows laptop. It just crashed in, and
Yeah, yeah, it happens. Right, I guess
so
we can continue.
yeah. So again, back to the Hacktoberfest website. Yeah, here we are. So
Mhm.
you have all the important details over here that we need with to participate in Hacktoberfest, and you will be getting a digital badge for yourself that you can present as an achievement with your fellow peers. And there are a lot of resources out there for, again, I consider myself as a beginner, so there are a lot of resources for someone who is a beginner like me. And you can just go over and check out the website. What are the necessary guidelines that you need to follow while making contributions, and what are the preventive measures that you can take in while making sure that your contributions doesn't go wasted, right? So you can just visit the website and check out the criteria about how to participate. And after that, you can just find out some really good projects out there. They should be participating in Hacktoberfest, and you can make your contributions out there. So, Memo, can you bring in my slides back again? Awesome. Where we? Yeah. So this is all about how you can get started with Hacktoberfest. And apart from that, again, as I shared with you, that I will be sharing some open source best practices that you should keep in mind while making those contributions out there. So when you're just interacting with any open source project out there are a few things that you should keep in your mind, honestly. And the first thing where it starts with is you should understand your contributions in project, right? uh, Open source contributions are of n types. It can be something from making or writing a small function to, or a test case for a particular file, to writing 100 lines of linter and adding it as a code to the project out there. Or it can also be a design change in any user interface of a project. So uh, you need to understand your project, your contributions, where you lie on. And This is something that you can learn with the time you invest on open source projects out there, because honestly, when I was contributing to projects out there, it was a bit tough for me to understand what exactly I want to contribute to the projects, and it was really overwhelming for me to understand my contributions while, or the value of the contributions that I am making to the projects. So the quick tip for this would be you spending some time with the projects out there and understanding uh, the contribution that you want to make in the project. While it is easier for you to find really good projects out there and make contributions to diverse projects, I would encourage you to follow up with only one project when you get comfortable with it, because obviously because you don't need to start everything from scratch, like getting used to the project and understanding the architecture of the project out there, or the code base of the project. And it really makes it easier when you are making recurring contributions to the project, and it also increases the expertise about that particular project and can help you get some really good opportunities when you keep contributing to it. So this is something that I would encourage. But there can be different types of contributions out there. It can be a small fix or a bug fix out there of one or two lines. It can be something like adding a function for a particular project. It can be design contribution. It can be a documentation contribution. It can be anything. Even fixing in small typos in the README or documentation of any project is considered under open source project. These are the types of contributions that can be considered in the good first scope. So when you are starting with the projects, you can check out and look into any one of these types when you are starting with. And the next thing is finding the right project yourself, right, for yourself. So generally people are not at all aware about how to find a good project out there, and it sometimes get really tough because you are not able to understand the project that you are looking to, and you are not at all able to understand that what should I do over here, right? And this is where a lot of things come into play. When you are looking forward to finding a new project, there are a few elements that you should keep in mind, like check it out if it aligns with your interest or not. uh, Check out if it has mentioned all the necessary guidelines that uh, are needed for you to make contributions out there. You should also keep in mind that it should align with your interest when you're making contributions. But again, there is something that you should keep in mind is just sick I have something that I noted specifically for you and I wanted to share with you all. So yeah, you can like start small, right? The contribution need not to be very big enough, and you can just start with fixing small bugs or starting with a good first issue scopes. So yeah, this is something that you can start with, and this is the way you can find the right projects for yourself. Just make sure to look out that the project is active and it has active contributions. The community is welcoming, and the maintainers are really helpful when you are starting with that project, right? Another thing is you should pick the issues in the open source projects and submit PRs mindfully. You should be always making sure that issues are clear, specific, and self-contained, right? It should have all and each of the necessary details that you need to know while you are making the contribution. So make sure you pick those issues mindfully. And I would suggest that you double check your work while you are making contributions or submitting a PR, because obviously it can get your work wasted if you don't submit the work in a correct way. Obviously, iterations are part of it, but making huge mistakes or blunders would result in a lot of time wastage for you and even the maintainers of the project, right? And also, a quick tip would be to always claim these issues out there, because generally, when you start working on the issues without claiming, a lot of the times it ends up in getting your efforts wasted because someone else end up making contribution to it while with claiming it, right? So this is there. Apart from that, get involved with the community and join those office hours, right? Almost each and every open source project that I have interacted with beholds a community behind them, who is, the people or the community who are readily making contributions are active and always accessible to help people out there who are starting with the project. So just get involved with the community, be an active communicator, and it will help you to receive some really good guidance and mentorship when you are making contributions. It can help you to connect with the right people or peer, as I said in the start, that you can connect with really good folks out there. So this is something that you can do by joining their communities. It can be on different types of communication platform. So make sure to join the community, and office hours, obviously, it really helps a lot to get your doubts or queries cleared during those office hours, because obviously maintainers are not available throughout the time, right? So this is something where the fifth point comes in. Communicate with the maintainers as much as you can. But so there has been something always that comes in the mind of almost each and every contributor when they are starting with a project, as that maintainers are someone we who shouldn't we reach out to, right? Because we are hesitant when we are connecting or reaching out to them to ask for help, but that's not true. Maintainers really love to help the contributors out there, and they can sit with you on for hours, like looking into your issues that you are facing and helping you to provide the right roadmap so that you can approach towards a solution. But while you are connecting with those maintainers and communicating with them, you should always be mindful about their time, and you should always respect their timelines. Like, they can't be available all of the time, and there is a way you should be inclusive and respectful while you are communicating with them. So these are a few points that you should keep in mind while you are communicating with the open source projects. But these are the most minimal or the basic things as the best practices that you should keep in your mind, right? So I think, since I have mentioned about, or I have already used this term good project a lot of the times in the stream, I would really love to show you that how a good project look like. And let me just share my screen, and the project that I want to share with you all is, yeah, here we go. So I personally have contributed to Appride in the past, and I just love this project, honestly. So this is basically the organization of Appride, where the various projects of Appride is hosted in various repositories, and one of the main repositories where you can contribute to is the Appride project itself. Uh, I just love this project because first, the community is very welcoming. The maintainers are really helpful. I personally have had a lot of sessions with those maintainers out there, and they helped me to get my PR merged to the project, right? So the project is really good. While I was mentioning that what a good project is looks like, whenever you are looking forward to find a new project, and you are jumping over to repositories out there, one thing that you should keep in mind is to check about the quality of the project. And how you can do that, you just need to go to the insights of the project. You can see over here that almost 15 active pull requests are there, and they have 19 active issues as of now. You can see that the pull requests have been merged recently, and you can also see that there are a lot of new pull requests that have been raised, and the issues are open, and the issues have also been closed recently. So this shows that whether the project is active or not, right? And apart from that, you can see here that the number of issues and the number of pull requests basically shows that the project is active considering the number of issues they have right now and the pull request in consideration with it. I can definitely say that okay, this is an active project and they have been uh, accepting the contributions from various contributors out there. If the project would have been really inactive, I could have easily checked it in the insights, and I can see the timeline that what was the most recent contribution that was out there, and it will let me know that if the project is active or not, right? Apart from that, one more thing that you should keep in mind while looking for the project is the community standards. uh, you can see that these are a few things that a project must have if it needs to be a good project, because these are a few things that makes the project stand out and helps you to make significant contributions out there. When you are making contribution to any project, just make sure to check out the readme, check out the license and contributing guidelines. As you can see over this project, they have a well maintained readme over here mentioning about how you can start with the project and set it up, mentioning about the architecture of the project, and how you can contribute to. If you look forward to the contributing guide over here, you can see that they have mentioned almost each and everything one should keep in mind while they are making contribution to any project, right? So this is something that a good projects look like. But whenever you are looking forward for a project that is participating in Hacktoberfest, you should always check these tags or titles over here, which are mentioned over here. Like as you can see, that it is participating in Hacktoberfest, and they have added the Hacktoberfest label over the repository over here. And if you check the Hacktoberfest label, you can see there are a lot of projects that are participating. uh, there is free code camp, there is free programming books. This one is something that I have contributed to in the past. I have contributed to free code camp too, and the developer roadmap, which is the most famous roadmap out there. They are also accepting open source contributions as part of Oktoberfest. So you can just check out these labels while you are making contributions or finding any repositories that are accepting contributions for Oktoberfest. Well, that's pretty much it about how you can get started with open source and Hacktoberfest. But if you feel like you have any questions, just feel free to let me know in the chat, and I will be more than happy to help you out. So execute.py says that please provide the issues resources to contribute in open source. So I will be sharing this slide with you all. The link would be shared with you all through the mails. So I will be adding those resources at the end of the slide, and you can check it out. I will be mentioning some really good resources out there. But if you have any questions, just feel free to let me know.
Okay.
If you feel like you want to connect with me, these are my social handles. You can always connect with me, and I will be more than happy to help you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, folks, if you have any kind of doubts, or if you want to really like have a kind of walkthrough or like some kind of help by Tawir, he can definitely help you out. So you can check out his socials and handles, and do connect with him. It's gonna help you a lot. Uh, as also like this is the Hacktoberfest season, and you still have few days left on your hand. So definitely, it can be more impactful for you. Also, thank you so much, Taukir, for like bringing this session and being on our stage for this virtual event. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it, and you have also like I like the way you showed the projects and like how they can be identified whether they are good or not for the contributions or like they are active or not. So
yeah,
definitely like newcomers face this issue, like what kind of projects they can choose and what kind of also contributions they can make. So this helps a lot.
yeah,
So yeah, I guess if folks have any kind of doubts, they can reach out to Tawki, and let's conclude this event over here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and coming over here for a wonderful Saturday of session, I'll say. And have everyone a great weekend ahead. And let's see you in our next virtual session. Right then, see you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Taukir.
yeah.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.